Goals are good. Goals are needed, but the problem with goals is that they are only focused on the end result. And I found when I was so focused on what I was trying to get to, I was constantly frustrated. I was constantly stressed out. But when I switched my mindset and my focus to be on the routines, on the habits, on the process to get there, falling in love with my routines, everything started to change. Welcome back, my friends, or welcome if you're new here. My name is Christy, and I make content centered around realizing that no matter where we are in life, no matter our age, we are just on time to live the life of our dreams. And right now, we are dead center in the middle of a 7-week reset where we are letting go of things that no longer serve us and focusing on the things that do. If this is your first video and you haven't caught anything else in the series, no worries whatsoever. You can easily just catch up, go back. We have free resources that you can be able to use to make this year your best year yet. In my Sunday video, I talked about how routines are very important. It's important for us to build routines, but we have to build routines that work for us, because if we don't, if we're trying to follow somebody else's routine, then we're not going to see traction with the things that we're trying to accomplish. At the beginning of the 7-week reset, that very first video, I said how this year I saw so much change in myself. I saw so much progress and movement toward my goals this year, but it was not without a lot of trial and error, because your girl had a rough start to the year. What really stuck for me and really just changed the game was when I started viewing my goals from a routines and a habits-based mindset as opposed to a goal-centric mindset. All right, so what's the difference? When we are goal-centered and our eyes are tunnel vision on the prize, we may have a plan in place to be able to get there, but oftentimes that plan is so intense that it's not something that we are going to stick with long term. So like, think of a bodybuilder. A lot of times they go through this rigorous, crazy training to get their bodies in a very lean shape, crazy things that they have to do that is not sustainable, and you can't keep that thing up. And so you're going through the motions and you're doing the things to make that thing happen, but you're not building habits and routines that will actually stick long term. However, with a routines and systems-based approach, we are focused on building habits, building systems, and becoming who it is that we want to become. We're not doing all of these extreme things to be able to get there. We are working on building ourselves up, improving ourselves, and figuring out what is going to work for us in the long term so that it's something we can stick with. I think the best way for me to explain this is to show how I incorporated that into my life and how it really did change the game for me. So I started out the year, like many of you, with goals in mind and the things that I wanted to accomplish, but I was also really burned out. I was working a job where I felt really stressed out all of the time. It required so much of my time, so much of my energy. And so I was burned out. I was stressed out. I was tired all the time. I was so tired. And I really needed a change. And so because I am naturally a very goal-centric person, like I set a goal, I know basically that I can meet it. I will do whatever it takes to be able to meet that goal. So I leaned into productivity, and I read a couple of books that I thought were amazing and were really life-changing, because they did jumpstart what I was trying to do and kind of where I am now. I read Atomic Habits, and then I also read 12-Week Year. And if you don't know about what those books are, Atomic Habits is really just thinking about what are the habits, what are the systems, what are the routines that we need to have in place so that we can make our goals happen. If we don't make those things a part of our identity, then we are not going to get to where it is that we want to go. Or if we do get where we want to go, we won't be able to sustain it. The other book is 12-Week Year, and the whole premise of that book is shrinking down your year into 12 weeks. So whereas typically a year is 12 months, you would be thinking as each week being a month. And so there is a lot that is happening within each week so that your annual goals can actually happen within a 12-week cycle. I felt like Atomic Habits gave me the background knowledge, and 12-Week Year gave me the system, and I'm like, cool, I got it. Let's do the system. I put my system in place for 12-Week Year, and I crashed and I burned. Like a week or two into it, I was just like, 12-Week Year stressed me out. My whole everything in me just rejected it. And after I finished it, because because I didn't finish it. But after that 12 weeks was over, I was really reflective about, okay, what happened here? This is not my typical. Why didn't I make any traction? It wasn't that my goals were no longer applicable. It wasn't that I didn't want to do those things anymore. I just could not do it the way that it was being presented to me because it was so intense. I completely shut down. So I took a step back from aggressively pushing toward my goals to actually think about what was it that I really wanted? What was it that I was aiming for? And what I wanted and what I was craving was a lot more stillness and a lot more harmony in my life where I could do the things that it took to be who I wanted to be, even if the goal took a little bit longer, but I was doing those things, they were part of my life, and I wasn't feeling so stressed out about all of the things that I was trying to accomplish. And when I could track all the times that I had been successful, it was because I had really good systems and routines in place. And so I determined, what could I still take away from Atomic Habits and from 12-Week Year to make it work for my life? And that is the goal of these productivity books. I think we look at them sometimes and we take them as Bible, but the goal of them is to figure out what are the pieces that work for us and incorporate them and give us inspiration so that we can make change for our own lives. Because sometimes trying to follow it to the letter of what it says is a lot more detrimental and is a lot more harmful to us, and it doesn't actually give us what we are trying to get to. Atomic Habits actually stayed in the back of my head from the time that I read it even to now. The practices, the principles, the whole ideology behind it stayed with me because it made sense to me that building those routines and those systems and those things being part of my identity would be what eventually led to change. When I started thinking about how I needed to get things done and started reworking my routine in order to make those things happen, that was when I started to see a lot more traction in my goals. But then I was also getting that stillness that my body and my mind and every part of me was really craving. I really prioritized retraining my brain to focus on who it is that I'm working to become, rather than it being a thing of, oh, this is the thing that I need to get to at this specific time. So I want to share a few of the routines that I created and that I stuck with. First, I started planning out my day every single day. So I got myself a nice little planner. Like, I get them all the time because I love planners, but I made it a habit where I was just constantly writing in it every single day. For me, it helped me to figure out, one, just what was going on in the day and bring just a lot more calmness to my mind. When I don't know what's going on in my day and I don't have like a real specific outline of what's happening, I feel really loosey-goosey. I feel quite a bit anxious. And so it just helped me to look at my notebook, write down what are all of the things, like a master to-do list of what are all of the things that are happening in my day, and then scheduling time blocks for those things to happen. I know that I'm going to do my devotion, so this is going to take about this amount of time. I'm going to do my workout. This is going to take about this amount of time. Planning out my whole day was something that I started doing. Another routine that I made and that I stuck with was waking up early. I am not an early bird. Like, that's not who I am as a person. I don't know that it ever will be. Even though I am making it my identity now, that is just not who I naturally am. Your girl likes to sleep. My body wants like about 9 hours to feel at optimum strength. But in order to be able to accomplish some of the things that I was needing to accomplish for the day, in order to be able to have time for myself, have time for YouTube, do my work, all of the things, I needed to wake up pretty early to get those things done. And I actually found that I really enjoy getting up early now. Like, yeah, I'm still tired, but when I get up, I feel like I can just slowly ease into my day, which went back to that real heart intent of, I want more stillness in my life. I need more just still time to move a bit more slowly throughout life. And waking up at 4:45, 5 o'clock, whatever, gave me the opportunity to be able to do that. Plus also get in all of the things that bring me joy and that help me to start out my day in a good space. And because health is a big part of some of my goals, another routine that I started really sticking with was making sure that I was having one big veggie meal every day. Now, there have been some days, of course, that have fallen off, but more often than not, I have either one meal that is hugely veggie focused or I'm having veggies at every single meal. For me, I just knew it was something that I wanted health wise to like get in more vegetables, get in more of those nutrients. My action is now to show up for myself every single day, or at least more days than not, in those areas. When I'm thinking about it being a part of my identity, then I'm putting those actions in place so that it's something that I can sustain and something that I can continue to work toward and improve and grow in, as opposed to being perfect. And for my type of personality, it needs to be this progress over perfection, because when I am focused on perfection, then all I'm doing is stressing myself out and not meeting my goals. So let's talk about moving into 2024. I am in the phase of thinking about the goals that I want for next year. Remember, goals are not bad. Goals are a good thing. Goals give us some direction of where to be able to go, but that cannot be where it ends, and that can't be the sole focus. We have to be focused on the systems. We have to be focused on the routines to be able to make those goals happen. My hubby and I, we like to make our vision boards like that week in between Christmas and New Year. So we're gonna be doing that. As I'm planning what I want to accomplish for next year, I am diligently working to focus less on the end result and more on just the process. It is through falling in love with the process that I have found so much change, and I found that I have so much joy when I'm doing the thing. I'm learning so much more about myself, and I am seeing every area where things are moving and things are progressing forward, and I can appreciate all of that so much more. I'm also planning to continue systems that I have built that work toward multiple goals. So for example, with getting up early, that is a system that I have in place. It allows me to get so much more accomplished and to feel really good in my time, which helps with my goals of working to grow on YouTube, to deepen my relationship with God, to have time with myself, all of those things that I can do when I am having that morning time to myself. Also, eating a big salad each day, which helps with my skin, which helps with my energy, which helps with my goals of being like fit and toned and snatched. Cooking in rather than buying out, which helps with saving money, also helps with health because I know exactly what ingredients are going into my food. So those are just a few examples of a few of the routines that I am definitely going to continue moving into 2024. How you approach getting to your goals is so individualized. Maybe you need that kick in the butt that the 12-week reset can give, and maybe that's something I will do at some point later, or maybe you can build the discipline in yourself and start seeing traction toward your goals through how you approach your routines. So that is it for me. Let me know what it is that you're doing, what you're working on, whether you're needing that more aggressive type of approach or whether you are more focused on your routines and how it's working out for you. Also, if you're not subscribed, what are you doing? I'm gonna need you to jump on that. All right, guys, I love you, and I will see you in my next. Bye for now.